Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Everyday Carry for the Everyday Guy. So as promised in my last video, September is going to be belt review month. I'm going to be having a look at quite a few belts. I got like about 6 of them. Going to be going through them all. Before I do that, there are a few concepts that I want to explain to you guys. Firstly, with belt reviews, when I talk about things like structural rigidity, what I effectively mean is this. It's the belt strength in this direction. Its ability to not be squished. And then when I talk about horizontal rigidity, it's the belt's ability to not have that happen. Okay, so just bear that in mind as I go through these reviews. I'm going to be talking about those concepts and I will explain them further and further during the video. I'm going to be reviewing the belts obviously with a holster. Now ordinarily I would completely safety empty and clear my firearm as well as my mags. That's going to be a bit different in these videos though, because the weight of a holster on a belt with a gun in it that has bullets in it is vastly different to the weight of a holster on a belt with a gun in it that does not have bullets in it. But obviously there is a safety aspect there. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to take my firearm. As you all know, I carry a Glock 19 and take the mag out. Now as you can see, that mag has a live round in it. The firearm itself is empty and clear. Okay, so firearm is empty, remember that. Spare mag, also we got a live round situation. What I'm going to do is take the top round out, so there's now 16 rounds in the mag with a +2 base plate, and of the standard mag I'm going to take the top round out as well. There's now 14 rounds in here, and replace this with a snap cap. So we've got a snap cap in there as the top round, and I'm going to do the same thing for this mag. So both mags now have snap caps in them. So this will now remain in this configuration. In order for me to have a negligent discharge, I would have to rack the slide, which to chamber the snap cap, pull the trigger, the gun will go click, rack the slide again to eject the snap cap and chamber a live round and pull the trigger again. The probability of that happening is absolutely 100% zero. I will never do something like that. We are at 100% safety levels. This is just the best way I can review a belt and show its strength and rigidity. So with that done and dusted, the first belt we're going to be reviewing this week is a belt from a company called Beltman Belts. They're out in Alabama. They do have a local distributor, a guy by the name of Paul Fisher. Everything I do review, all the belts I do review are going to be locally available. So if you see it on the channel, you can purchase it locally. I think Paul does like orders once every month, but I'll get into that a bit later on. So let's get things going with the belt review. So guys, let's get into it. The first belt I'm going to be reviewing is this really ultra classy looking bull-eyed belt from a company called Beltman Belts. As I said, Paul Fisher is the contact. This is the kind of gun belt you can wear pretty much anywhere. I'm going to show you how rigid it is in just a second, but take a moment to enjoy how really classy that leather looks. So guys, what I've got here is the exact same setup or weight setup I had with my previous holster. I just found with that single clip on the other holster, I struggled to get it to sort of stay steady on the belt. So I switched the holster out for a quantum carry holster as well as a Carter custom carry mag carrier. And as you can see, in terms of horizontal rigidity, the belt holds up really well. We've got effectively 32 rounds in here. There's very little bendage. It'll be impossible to have zero bend, but I'm kind of holding it on as little sort of contact points as I can, and it is able to hold this whole setup up under its own sort of weight and strength. I'm hoping you can see, or I'm hoping I'm getting good shots of this so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Very solid, very rigid belt. Really cool. And so what this does is, I'll switch to a different shot. So what that really good horizontal rigidity actually means in practice is the belt stays sort of in a straight horizontal line across my body. It doesn't sag forward, it doesn't form a V. When belts do that, the holster pulls forward, the firearm pulls forward, and you get really bad printing. That is effectively how a belt really helps with the reduction in printing. Something about myself, and this is a personal thing, there's absolutely no tactical reason to do this, but I tend to find I really jam my firearm into the holster. I don't know why. Whenever I'm practicing dry firing, whatever the case may be, and I reholster, I really slap that guy in there. And a belt that is able to remain horizontally rigid really helps, as you can see, pull the firearm back to its original home position. That means when I'm walking around, when I'm jumping around, when I'm moving, when I'm practicing and I'm slamming that in there, the firearm's going to be in the same place all the time. That's what you are looking for in a belt. You need it to be a solid platform, work in conjunction with your pants. And if your pants is too big, you can tighten your belt too tightly, and it's going to be an inefficient way of doing this. It's not going to look comfortable, it's not going to feel comfortable. You're going to think it's the holster that's the problem. This whole platform works together. Your belt, your holster, your pants, all those things work together, even your cover garment, to improve your concealability. You can draw, you can move, you can twist, whatever the case may be, and it's going to be right there in the same place no matter how hard you jam that guy in there. So that's very important for a belt. And I can say, this is kind of my go-to belt. This is the belt I wear most often, and this sort of performs 10 out of 10 in that horizontal rigidity, as you can see. Okay guys, so this is a different carry position, and I wanted to show this for on-body rigidity, because not everybody carries in the appendix position, and if you are carrying strong side, and the belt does sag that way, as I said previously, that's going to affect your concealment. It's going to print out to the side. It's going to look really weird, and it can even affect your draw. If that firearm isn't exactly where you think it is, or exactly where you put it last, you might stuff your draw. So as you can see with this, I'm carrying a Denal's outside the waistband production holster. I will be doing a review on this guy very soon, but I can take the firearm out and really slap it in there, and just pops back to its original position. That is what I look for in a belt. And I'm not even going to say so much that that's what I look for in a holster, because the holster doesn't really do anything here. You know, this is entirely my carry platform, the combination of belt and pants that is doing this. This is outside the waistband, so my pants is hardly even involved. The only thing this holster is sitting on right now is the belt. And as you can see, this belt is rigid, solid, remains horizontal across my body. So when I do move, when I do jump, when I do anything, everything remains exactly where I remember I put it. Very important for a belt. If you are purchasing a belt, try it on, make sure you test it, make sure you can do this. At the end of the day, this is not carrying a bag of sweets, it's carrying your firearm, which is what you're going to use in a life or death situation. So you want that platform to be ultra solid. So guys, the way I'm going to show you structural rigidity across all the belts I review is as follows. I've got a couple of weights here. Now these weights are substantially heavier than my firearm and extra mag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them on top of the belt, sort of long side, you know, kind of thing, so that I can test whether this will buckle or not. And I'm going to place them in reverse order so that I can sort of magnify the weight down to the smallest possible surface area. I don't know how heavy my firearm is exactly, but I will show you the weight of these weights as I go through them, and you can sort of take it. That's 8 ounces, and then that looks like 1 pound, and that is 2 pounds, and that is another 2 pounds. So I'm just trying to get this all lined up, and I'm not helping this thing out at all. I'm just using my fingers to keep it steady. And as you can see, the belt can maintain the weight of that quite comfortably. I'm actually fairly certain I could stick my gun on there as well. Yeah, it's in terms of strength and structural rigidity, this belt is a 10 out of 10. I will explain to you exactly why that is, how they've achieved this, and how to also look after this belt if you are interested in purchasing one. It's a very good belt. Like I say, it's my go-to belt right now. I really enjoy it, and I really like the look of it. So guys, on the tabletop, a couple of things I want to show you. You can get this belt with many different kinds of buckles. I like gunmetal, minimalist, you know, dark color. That's my style, but you can get it in gold, silver. You can go crazy. And then also what you'll notice if you do get this, after a while, a little kink will develop in the belt, in the area where you buckle it. Don't be concerned about this. This is actually quite useful. When you get this belt initially, it's so rigid that it's almost difficult to tie it. That little kink helps tie it down and helps prevent the bulk where it is buckled. So don't stress about that. And then also something very important to note is these belts come with 7 holes as opposed to the normal 5. So you do have a lot of room for adjustment when you are wearing them. If you want to wear it a bit loose, if you want to wear it a bit tight, you can do that. Don't stress about that. And so it's impossible to get a really good shot of this, but this is actually a dual layered belt. I'll try to get a really up close shot for you. So if you can just sort of see in that hole over there, this is actually 2 layers of bullite, one tanned and one sort of normal color. And they are sort of squashed together, and that's what gives you the rigidity. Now, one thing I do want you to note, as you wear this belt, you might notice little nicks and things, especially along the edge. That's also not something to stress about. Because this is leather, you can simply take normal shoe polish and just polish that out, but that'll only be exactly on the areas where you apply your holster to the actual belt. The rest of the belt is, as you've seen, super smooth, super nice, and it's got a really classy looking buckle to it as well. The belt as a whole is just a very classy design. It looks really good as a dress belt and as an EDC belt. So guys, where that little kink in the belt becomes really useful is when you are carrying in the appendix position. You'll see if the belt didn't kink in this area over here, right, where the buckle is, this would stand out like a lot. So it develops like a little bend in there so that you can press this buckle flat. That is basically super useful when it comes to concealment. And then also something that I quite like to do is when it's sort of Sunday lunchtime and you're at the table and you've had too much to eat and you all fat. Basically what I do is I just take it over here, lift up, you can see nothing, and I'm sitting under the table, lift it up, loosen one buckle, oh sorry, not loosen one buckle, loosen it one loop. It just relaxes everything, and then when I'm about to get up again, I can just tighten it by that one, and we are effectively good to go. So that's super useful. It's a nice function of a belt that has this kind of locking mechanism, normal standard belt buckle type deal. So guys, just to end off, if you do need to go all James Bond in a situation and dress up like this, just want to show you this belt does absolutely fit the part. It looks like it should be here, and you can carry your concealed carry firearm. I would ordinarily carry in this position if I had to dress like this. I know there are some holsters that are tuckable, appendix holsters are tuckable. I don't like that. I don't find it comfortable to have my shirt go over it, because for me it just doesn't look and feel right when I'm looking down at it. So I'd go for the strong side position. It is okay for me to do because I am often switching between the two. It's not ideal to do that. Try to stick to your own carry position and maintain that. But I've got a review gear, so I've got to be open to my comfortability with switching to from position to position. So for me, it's fine. Just one other thing I want to talk about is with these leather belts, guys, what you don't want to be doing is rolling it up like this. This is no good. What's going to happen is you're going to stretch the outside and over compress the inside, and your belt's going to not last as long as it should. So ideally, you want to hang a belt like this on a hanger in your cupboard, that kind of thing. So if you do want to get hold of Paul Visser, I will leave his Facebook link in the description. He is the main point of contact, and his Facebook link is how you will get to him. I believe he brings his belts in once a month kind of thing. So it's not a long wait if you do order one, but speak to him about it. He's super helpful, super nice guy. I want to say thank you to him for making this available and effectively making this review available to you guys. So that's it from me for this week, guys. Thank you so much. Next week, I am going to be reviewing more belts. Stay tuned for that. And that's it. Have a good week. Have a good weekend, depending on when you're watching this. Cheers, guys. God bless.